So you've had an evangelism seminar. Now what? You've learned the 7 principles of being a successful soul winner. Now what? You understand you're to defer, not to debate. Now what? So you've sat through several sessions, and you've opened your Bible, and you've been motivated to evangelize. Now what? You got back to the Bible, and you know you need to have a method. Now what? Brethren, if we don't take everything we've learned and put it into a strategic plan to engage the sinner, to get into the community, we are wasting time. Everything we have done up to this point is not going to do anything to help this church if we don't create a strategy for success at the local level. Brethren, this lesson is designed to make everything you have learned come together. This is the strategy for local evangelism. It was Winston Churchill who once said, "He who fails to plan is planning to fail." My experience in local churches is that most congregations have no local strategy for evangelism. Now, we have a foreign strategy. Let me tell you, we've got boards, we've got meetings, we have endless action and strategic planning committees. We funnel money into it, but when it comes to your local community, how do you get the gospel out to local people? Most churches do not have an actionable plan. So tonight, what we're going to do is give you the 10-step plan. I want you to take your Evangelism Simplified Guidebook and turn it to page 112. Turn it to page 112. We're going to provide 10 things you need to focus on. For the next 3 months, there are 10 things that you got to hyper-focus on as a church. You have to develop each one of these in order for them to come together to become operational. Now, tonight, in this session, this is not an operational meeting. Brethren, you cannot become operational if you don't have a plan. This is a strategic session. This is the application of the 7 principles you've learned in this seminar. Number 1, what is the first step you've got to take as a church? You have got to have the equipment. Brethren, if you do not have the tools in order to achieve the desired result, you're bound for failure. If you do not have the Bibles to do Bible studies, you can't have a study. You know, I've noticed in many churches of Christ, we have a lot of equipment. I mean, we have refrigerators, we have ovens, we have cups and knives and forks and spoons and paper plates and napkins. We have coffee pots, coffee filter, coffee maker, and coffee grinds. We have tables and tablecloths, and we have microwaves, and we have salt and pepper, and we have everything we need to start a soup kitchen. And I've noticed in many churches of Christ, I walk around and you've got laminators, high-dollar laminators, thousands of dollars. And we have die-cut machines, thousands of dollars. And we have crayons and scissors, and we have glue sticks, and we have map pencils. We have poster board and copy paper and construction paper. And we have everything we need to do to open a school. It is few and far between that I find a church that's equipped to evangelize. But if we do not have the tools to evangelize, you're not going anywhere. So we have to have Bibles, simple, not high-dollar Bibles, but not font 5 Bibles either. We need Bibles that people can utilize. And you know, it's amazing how many people don't have a Bible. You can't have a Bible study without Bible. You got to carry those with you. We need Bible study material, like Back to the Bible. How are you going to do a Bible study if you don't have Bible study methods? And so this is not something we order from Gospel Advocate. Brethren, this is something we should have on hand. And this is something that we need to make sure that we have available. In fact, I was at one congregation about a year ago, and I walked in. I said to one of the elders, I said, "Brother, would you permit me to ask you just a few questions? Because I want to find out where you're located evangelistically." He said, "Preacher, you just fire away. Don't hold back." And I said, "Don't worry, I won't." And I said, "Brother," I said, "if I was a member of this church and I wanted to do a Bible study," I said, "where would I get my Bible study material?" He said, "Well, preacher, I knew you were coming." He said, "You just follow me." So he said, I started following this man, and we went down this long, dark hallway, and we got to the end of the hallway. He said, "Preacher, they're in here." And of course, the door was locked. And he got out his keys, and we went through the ring of keys. Have you ever seen the ring of keys in a church building? It's massive. And we went through several of these keys. We finally got into the room, turned on the lights. He said, now pray. Oh, it's back there in the locker. So we walked back to the locker. Of course, it was locked. Don't worry, we have the ring of keys. We got it out. We went through the keys again. We opened it up. He pulls from the top shelf a pack of Back to the Bible. He says, preacher, you see, I was prepared. I said, brother, I have one question for you. I want to know why the material that's needed in order to accomplish a Bible study is locked in a room and locked in a locker. He said, oh, we were afraid someone might get them. Brethren, isn't that the point? Don't we want them to get them? Brother, we must provide the members the materials to have Bible studies. They need simple things like, does it matter, the one study method. This is designed for somebody that they're standing at the finish line. They just never crossed the tape. They've never crossed, they're standing at the 1 yard line. They've never walked into the end zone. You need to have material that's designed to take people where they're at. We need material designed to take people who don't believe in God. They don't believe in the Bible. They don't believe in Jesus. Well, how do you know there was a Jesus? Well, I was raised, my mother said there was a Jesus. That's not going to work very well with non-believers. You're going to have to convince them. You're going to have to reason with them. You're going to have to go to them and provide them the evidence that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. He's not a mythical figure. He's not a fairy tale. He's a real being. And not only that, he is deity. He is God in the flesh. You got to prove it to them. Brethren, if you do not have the materials to bring people, to bring contacts into the church building, materials to train your members how to do Bible studies, materials for new converts once they become Christians. How do you keep them from walking right out the back door and you never see them again? I mean, you have got to equip the church with the tools. If the church doesn't have the tools, it won't work. You know, we spend countless dollars on fixtures and beautiful mirrors and glasses, and we have all sorts of pews and paint and furnishings and decorations, but churches, for the most part, don't have the most basic materials to evangelize. Number two, we got to put it out there where they can get it. We don't lock it in a locker. So one of the first steps we recommend that a church takes is that you create for yourself in this foyer an evangelism table. Brethren, you ought to have a table in your foyer full of evangelistic material. And you ought to put it out there so that people can grab it. You got to put it out there where people can get to it. You don't put it in the preacher's office. You don't lock it up in the elder's office. You don't put it in a library. They're not going to the library. You got to put it out there where they stumble over it in order to get into your church building. So as one of the first steps that we're going to give you this piece by piece is you make yourself a table full of evangelism material. You put your Back to the Bible on it. You put your Believe the Bible on it. You put your Does It Matter on it. You put your digital Bible studies on it. You put all the materials that are needed in order to conduct a Bible study. Bibles go on it. Muscle and a Shovel goes on it. Your training book goes on it. And you tell the members, listen, if you need to have a Bible study, as you walk out the auditorium, you can't miss it. It's got a big old table cover. It says evangelism right on it. Go get your materials. Brethren, we cannot do Bible studies if we hide it. Do not lock it in the locker. I was preaching at Willette, and it was Chandler Hudson, and we'd converted most of his family. And Chandler had a friend, and he played football. Chandler said, hey, Rob, he says, my friend's here. I said, I seen him. He said, I want to do a Bible study. I said, great. He said, where do I get the Bible study material? I said, oh, it's locked in my office. It was the last day it was in my office. I went into my office. Just a light bulb popped on. I said, how in the world can I expect this church to do Bible studies if the material needed to do Bible studies is in my office locked? So I got a table, and I put it out there. I put all the material on there. I said, brethren, come get it. And so I started teaching churches. Immediately I said, hey, you got to get an evangelism table. And churches started to set them up. And in fact, one of the assignments we're going to give a church, say, I want a picture of it. You got 2 weeks. I want to show me your table. Show me where the members can get it. I had a preacher call me. He said, Rob, he said, we set up the table. He said, I put all the material on it like I was supposed to. And he said, I came back 2 days later, and it was gone. I said, well, brother, that's exciting. The members are thirsting for Bible studies. He says, oh, no, Rob. He said, I suspected something was going on. So I went back and I reset up the table and I put out the materials. And he said, I went back a few days later and it was gone. He said, at about that time, I decided I needed to call one of the elders. I said, Brother so-and-so, I said, would you tell me why in the world the evangelism table that we have set up to equip the saints to do Bible studies continues to disappear from the foyer? He said, oh, now about that. He said, Brother David, when we bought this $3 million facility and we took suggestions as to what goes in the foyer, he said, we talked about chairs and decor, and then we made the statement to the church that you're not to change it and you're not to put things out there because, it wasn't approved by official channels. One of the ladies saw what you had done and they complained because it didn't match the decor, that gaudy looking table, you put out there. So we decided it would be better to put it in the coat closet. The coat closet. He said, you put the evangelism materials in the coat closet. He says, yes, it does not match the decor of our beautiful foyer. He said, all right. So he got in I got into the pulpit on Sunday night. I preached that lesson you recommend. I preached a lesson on evangelism material. And I described to the church exactly what we had. I said, brethren, go to the coat closet. It's in there. Get your material. Do your Bible studies. He said, I walked down the aisle. I opened the coat closet door. I stood by it, and I welcomed the members into the coat closet. Guess how many of them went into the coat closet to get their Bible study material? 0. Brethren, may I suggest that if we cannot put evangelism materials in our foyers because it doesn't match the decor, just sell your building and go home. We are the church of Christ. Our mission is to do Bible studies and reach out to the community. And if we can't do that, we can't do anything. It is a sad commentary on where we're at. Put it out there when the brethren can get it. Number 3, train them. I mean, what good is it that you have the most technologically advanced equipment at your job site? What good is it you have the latest Caterpillar D9 or D10 bulldozer? What good is it you have the best equipment, the best trucks, the latest reefers, the best rigs? What good is it that you got the latest models if you have no idea what to do with it? Brethren, when you go to your job site, I guarantee they don't let you on that stuff without training. They're going to send you to school. If need be, they'll send you to Tokyo to learn how to use it. They're going to send you to Boeing in Seattle. They're going to send you to Caterpillar down in Houston. They're going to send you out there and they're going to say, all right, before we put you on this equipment, you're going to know what you're doing. I want to know why we're not training our church members how to use the equipment. If you're going to expect church members to use training material, train them. Brethren, I'm not talking about Monday night for the masters when you got 8 people that show up for a seminar. I'm talking about Sunday morning where they can't escape. You don't train people on Monday night, they don't come. What you do is you train them on Sunday morning where they cannot get away from it. You put it right in their lap. You put it on a PowerPoint. You put your preacher in the pulpit and you say, train us how to do Bible studies. Turn us into a trained soldier. Equip us so that we can go out and reach sinners. Brethren, it's unescapable and unavoidable. That's the kind of evangelistic intent that you have to be successful. You cannot just expect the members to show up and say, well, I'm here. You'll have 5 of them show up. If you're going to equip an army in a congregation, it has to be when everybody's present, because they're not going to make a special effort to come. And then you're going to put it in their lap. And I'm going to give you all of this. The thing is, what's exciting to me about tonight is everything I talk about, I am going to spoon feed you. I'm going to give it to you. Before I leave this complex tonight, this eldership will have every single thing in their hands that I'm talking about. And so this is not just a theory that I'm talking about tonight. I know if you'll do this stuff, it works. All over the country, whether you're 600 members or 20 members, churches of Christ are taking this evangelistic strategy, implementing it step by step, training their church members how to. I was with Cliff Goodwin. Cliff Goodwin was he's really one of the elites in the kingdom. I mean, that man can preach. He had James Watkins preaching the gospel. He was on, how long was he on television? 40, 50 years? And him and Mac Lyon, forever. And they selected Cliff to replace him. And Cliff said, hey, Rob, come train us how to evangelize. I was blown away. I said, Cliff, you don't need to train you how to evangelize. He said, come train us. And so I came and I trained the Ironton congregation in Alabama. And man, they were excited. And we're putting this stuff in their hands. And we're training them how to use it. We had a long week. I trained them how to use all the material. And then when I left, I got a phone call from Cliff a few weeks later. He said, Rob, we've had more baptisms than I've ever seen. I said, well, what's going on, Cliff? I said, I knew you would baptize. He said, Rob, I haven't taught one of them. He said, you know those little widows in the pews? We trained them how to use back to the Bible, and they're out there doing Bible studies with all their friends. Rob, and I'm baptizing them all week long. The members are doing it. Brethren, listen, if you don't hear anything else I say tonight, you listen to this. If you do not engage your church members in evangelism, you will not make it. Jeremy and Caleb cannot evangelize for this church. They can be an example of it. And brethren, I'll just be bold. If they're not an example of evangelism, fire them. Any preacher that doesn't get out there and evangelize doesn't need to be in the pulpit. I was at Polishing the Pulpit. I hope they'd say that about me. I was at Polishing the Pulpit, brother, and David Shannon was full of 400 preachers. He said, all right, preachers, how many of you raised your hand? How many of you have had a Bible study, not a pulpit study, a personal Bible study in the last 6 months? All about 15, 20 preachers raised their hand. He said, now the rest of you quit. Man, he got my attention. Because if I'm a preacher of the gospel and I'm not out there trying to help people go to heaven, then what in the world am I doing? Brethren, this is the core of who we are. I don't sit in my office and hope they come. They're not coming to my office. I am going to have to get out there and find them and study with them. And so as a preacher, I got to be an example of that. But listen, I cannot convert this community. I can't do this by myself. If the members will assist me, if they will come to the table and we'll work together as a team, brethren, there's no stopping LHA. You will fill this auditorium. But you got to work together. You got to train your church members how to do it. Number 4, you got to create an atmosphere in this church that breathes, it lives. Brethren, it is an evangelistically functioning body. Evangelism surrounds everything that you do. It's an atmosphere. It permeates through your Bible camps. It permeates through your vacation Bible school. It permeates through your college ministry. It permeates through your prime timers. It permeates through your graduation banquet. It permeates through your trick or trunk. Everything you do at this church is about souls. It's not about passing out candy. Brethren, if you're passing out candy to pass out candy, the Lions Club can do that. We're not the Lions Club. We are the church of Christ. We have a mission. Never lose sight of your mission. A lot of churches have lost sight of their mission. When I was up at Lake Erie, my grandfather was a fisherman by trade. That's what he did. And he had these big boats on Lake Erie, walleye fishing. And I was behind this is when I was a younger, Grandpa got up there and he said, come over here and grab the wheel. I said, Grandpa, I can't steer this. He said, yeah, you can't get up there. He said, now pick out a point out there. And I picked out a point. He said, now, I said, Grandpa, how do I know I'm not going to get off course? He says, never lose sight of the point. Don't worry about any of the gauges. He says, just keep your eyes on the point. Brethren, we have lost sight of our point. Our point is the cross. Our point is souls. Our point is in Matthew 28:18. Go ye therefore and teach. Anything that we do in the church that is not conducive to that, brethren, we need to stop it. And I would start with your benevolent ministries. Anything you do to help people. I'm going to give you some quick things you can do, and I just want to give you an example of it. Hello, yes, this is Jeremy or this is Caleb. Yes, we help people. Yes, we have benevolence. Yes, we love to help people. Do you help with car payments? Oh, yes, sir, we help with car payments. Do you help with electric bills? Oh, yes, sir, we help with electric bills. Do you help with gas bills? Oh, yes, sir, we help with gas bills. Will you help a fella who needs a little bit of help with his medicine? Absolutely, we love to help with medicine. I never say no. Whatever it is they're asking, I said, yes, sir, we'd be glad to talk to you. Well, great. He said, I can't wait to meet you. You're a really caring church. I said, yes, sir. He said, when can you provide this assistance? We provide it every Sunday morning at 9:30, and I can't wait to see you. Huh? Yeah, at 9:30 on Sunday morning. That's when we provide it. Well, I don't know if I can wait till 9. I said, I'm so sorry. There are some county services, I'm sure, that will help you until Sunday morning at 9. Well, I don't have a car. No problem. We got 20 men who are willing to pick you up 9:30 Sunday morning, and I can't wait to meet you. Everything we do becomes evangelism. Every single thing we do at the local church is about saving souls. Guess what happens when they walk into the building on Sunday morning at 9:30? Brother, I'm going to go grab you. I'm going to go grab you out of the pew. I'm going to say, brother, we've got a visitor here. I said, take him to room number 2 and do a Bible study. Well, I'm supposed to be in the adult class. If we can't do a Bible study during Bible study, then what are we doing? Grab yourself back to the Bible, take them to room 2, open your Bible, and do a study with them. Now, when they finish study number 1, they can meet with your deacon, your elders, and we'll figure out how to help them. You can help them with $1 or $100, I don't care. But brethren, they're going to do a Bible study. Now, how many elders, after a person does a Bible study and comes on Sunday morning, is going to be unwilling to help them? I don't know one. But I'll tell you what elders are tired of. They're tired of being taken advantage by charlatans. They're tired of helping people with you give, but you never get. You're always being taken advantage of. They go from church to church, and they got their hands out at every church, and they always seem to be going to New York, and they ran out of gas in your parking lot. And you ask, well, you a member of the church? Yes, my reverend up there in New York. You know you're being taken for a ride. Do you help people? Yes, every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock we help people, and we can't wait to see you. You see, everything revolves around souls. It's an atmosphere in the church. And until the church understands that, until they realize, listen, we're not just sending cards to send cards. You know, a lot of churches have great card sending programs, but there's no souls being saved. They have Meals on Wheels, but there's no souls being saved. They have all sorts of, backpacks for Christ. In fact, we're full of it. We got coat drives and teacher supplies and pantry box and giving boxes, turkey giveaways. No souls are being saved. Brethren, we are not the soup kitchen. You're the church of Christ. Your mission is centered on souls and teaching people the gospel of Christ. Success is not giving out 50 turkeys. Success is Bible study. It's very focused. And brethren, until we get that, we won't succeed. Number 5. This is, by the way, her name's Kim. I like to be very practical. Hello? I got this little publication called House to House, Heart to Heart. Yes, ma'am, we send that. It says here that you help people. Yes, ma'am, I need some help. Can we help people every Sunday morning at 9:30? Well, I don't have a ride. No worries, we got lots of rides. Okay, well, my address is, we'll look forward to seeing you, Kim. We pick Kim up, we bring her to the church. People are very friendly, and Kim says, well, your church is very friendly, it ought to be. And, hey, Kim, can we give you a ride home? Sure. Kim, do you need something? I need a little food. I said, well, let's go over here to the Dollar General. It's right here down the street. And I said, what do you need? I said, well, just pick it out, Kim, whatever you need in the basket. And Kim's picking out her food, She says, now, Rob, she says, I hate to ask this, but she says, I've just got into the apartment and I fell. And that bathtub is really slippery. And she says, do you have one of those, can you give me one of those mats to keep me from slipping? I said, absolutely. I said, let's go over and get the $5 mat and put it in your bathtub. So we got the $5 mat. And we take her back to her place. And Kim, we got services tonight. Would you like to? Well, I'd love to come back. You guys are nice people. And I said, we'll pick you up at 6 o'clock. We pick Kim up at 6 o'clock, bring her back, and we come. Now, this time she invites us in. She said, well, y'all come on in. So we walk inside the house, and I tell you, that thing was mold infested. I said, Kim, I said, man, Kim, do you have any health problems? Yeah, ever since I moved in here, I'm always coughing and sneezing. And I said, Kim, you got a mold problem. She says, well, this is government housing. I said, we're going to fix that. So I called the government. I called the city. I said, you guys need to fix this immediately. And they moved her to an entire new establishment. She said, now, Rob, I can't move. I said, no, you can't, but we can. The men showed up. We showed up with our trucks and trailers. We packed it up. We put her to another place. Hey, Kim, man, you guys are so nice. Rob, you even put my coffee table together and my bed together. And she said, y'all are the most wonderful people. I said, Kim, would you like to know more about the Church of Christ? Oh, I sure would. I just so happen to have these little booklets here. Surprise. I always have the booklets. Brethren, this is the goal. I didn't move her because I wanted a pat on the back. I moved her because I wanted to prospect her heart to do a Bible study. Everything I do in my life is to get here. Everything revolves around the Bible study. Because the Bible study is Matthew 28:18 in action. So we sit down, my wife and I sit down, and Kim says, now I can't read the Bible. I said, well, Kim, we'll read it for you. I said, may I ask why you can't read it? Can't see it. I'll get you a large one. Won't work. I need glasses. I said, what's wrong with your glasses? I can't afford them. I said, no problem. How much will it cost to get glasses? $100 for 2 pair down there at America's Eye Vision. I said, make your appointment. Now, I can't afford them. I said, Kim, make your appointment. And she made her appointment. My wife took her down. We got her glasses. She came back, and I remember the first words she said when we sat down for the study. I can see. And she read the Bible. And we did this. What do you think she's going to do when we're finished? The same thing that 90% of the people we sit down with do. Number 5. Brethren, this right here is where the money's made. Brethren, if you don't do this, nothing else I'm going to say in this seminar matters. I was out there with Hugh Wayne Clark. He owns the largest sawmill in the state of Tennessee. They employ hundreds of people. They have dry kilns. I mean, it's incredible sawmills. One of the elders at Whitacre. And I did that tour so often when I was a preacher, I could almost give the tour. Everybody wanted the tour, so I'd always take them up there, you know, the preachers. And I said, Hugh Wayne, I said, you got this massive establishment here. I said, where's the money made? He says, right there. I said, what do you mean? He says, that's my grader. He says, if he doesn't do his job correctly, nothing else we do in this entire complex matters. If he doesn't grade it, positive, common, 1, 2, if he doesn't do it right, Rob, he says, I lose my business right there. I said, so I guess that's the guy you really trust. He said, that's the guy I trust right there. He said, he has to know it backwards and forwards. Brethren, this is where your money's made. This is where the church must know her business. If the church does not understand this, you will fail. So I'm going to spend some time on point 5. In fact, the rest of the class pretty much is on point 5. This is important. You must produce contacts in the local church. You have got to get to sinners. You have got to bring them in. If you don't bring the sinners in, brethren, it won't work. You got to get, the sinner isn't just going to wander into your church building. So something has got to trigger them. Well, house to house, heart to heart. If you use it correctly, you're going to get to people. I mean, you're going to put it in their mailbox. You're going to put it in the mailbox of thousands of people in LJ. And you're going to use it correctly, meaning that you're going to set it up strategically. I got a test that I give churches. It's a 10-question test about house to house, heart to heart. Most churches score a 10. I've had one score 30. In other words, I pretend I'm a visitor. I pick up their house to house, heart to heart, and I try to engage. I try to find the church. I try to allow it to lead me to their congregation, and it doesn't work. If you do this right, it is a potent contact creator. We baptize 3 or 4 people a year at Jacksonville. When I was at Willette, we baptized 3 or 4 people a year. When we were at Hillsboro, we baptized 3. Brethren, if you do this, you're advertising your presence. You're telling people in this community, here we are, and here's what we offer. You know, most churches don't offer anything. You can offer something, but they don't. It's blank. They have nothing to offer. And so under services offered, there's just nothing there. And then on the back side, when you're actually able to advertise your presence and to advertise something like a trick or treat, just brainstorm with me. Let's suppose 3 months ago, you guys decided you were going to start using house to house, heart to heart. And you send it out to 4,000 homes. And you're going to do it every month. And your first issue on the back side, you're going to advertise a family safe and friendly trick or trunk here. What's going to happen? You think sinners are going to come bring their children because you're a family friendly, safe environment? Do you think they're going to line up? Or are we just going to cater to the Christians? Is it all about allowing our grandchildren and our nieces and nephews and our long-standing friends, dress up and look silly and go through the line? Oh, that was a wonderful trick or trunk. There's not one sinner there. It's all about the sinner. I want the community here. I don't want them down at the Methodist church. I want them here. How do I get them here? You got to advertise. You have to tell people about it. People have to know what you're doing. If they don't know, they're not coming. House to house that's the purpose of it. And not just trick or trunk. We're talking about a dozen other things that you're going to do. let's talk about the effects of house to house. I looked over my shoulder and I noticed there was a lady sitting in the pew, and she's a visitor. And Nicole is visiting her mom and dad, and so I walked over, and after the service, I walked up to Alan. I said, Alan, who is that? He says, Rob, she's visiting. And I said, Alan, I'm going to engage the visitor. And I've got one mission. You know what I want, don't you? I have one thing I want. So I go behind her. The closing prayer has said. She turns around. There I am. Hello, how are you? My name's Rob. Oh, my name's Ellen. Ellen, you visiting this morning? Sure am. And I said, man, we're glad you're here. I said, do you live locally? I sure do. I just live down the road. I said, wow. I said, well, did you enjoy the service today? Sure did. I said, what'd you like about it? But the Bible. You guys have a lot of Bible here. I said, we love the Bible. He said, your preacher quotes a lot of Bible. I said, yeah, Alan loves the Bible too. And I said, Alan, are you alone? Well, kind of, sort of. Well, not. She said, my husband was coming with me this morning, but he got a little sick to his stomach. So he stayed home, but I came. And I said, well, man, I said, I'm so glad you're here. And I said, well, my wife is visiting her folks. I tell you what. I said, I would love to meet your husband. She said, well, I'd like to meet your wife. She said, do you have an evening service? I said, yes, ma'am, we do. I said, we have it at 6 o'clock. She said, well, I think I'll come, and I'll bring my husband if he's feeling better. I said, wonderful. So she comes that Sunday night. Husband sits next to her. Nicole and I come up. Hello, my name's Perry. Perry, nice to meet you. This is Ellen. Nicole, this is Ellen. And Ellen, Perry. And do you guys like the service tonight? Sure did. I said, man, I'd love to meet you guys. We have this custom. We always take visitors out to eat. Perry, what's your favorite restaurant in Jacksonville? He said, well, I like the Afina's. It's an Italian place. I said, wow. I said, that's good eating there. He said, yeah. I said, I'll take you to Afina's. You would? He said, that's kind of expensive. I said, no matter. I said, let's go to Afina's. He said, well, man, my stomach. He said, if I'm going to Afina's, I'm going to eat. He said, can I take a rain check? I said, when do you want to go? He said, we'll come next Sunday. I said, absolutely. So next Sunday, they come back, they sit in the pews. After the service is over, we go over to Afina's. We walk into that Italian restaurant. I could care less about the lasagna. I have one mission. We sit around the table. Hey, Perry, what do you like to watch? You like football? Oh, well, what do you think about the NFL? Don't watch it. I said, me neither. Not worth watching anymore, Rob. Me neither. Perry, what do you think about basketball? Disrespectful. I get it. I understand. What do you think about golf? Too slow. We got college football? Love college football. I said, there you go. I said, man, I love college football too. I said, Perry, who do you like in college football? He said, go Alabama. Go Alabama. Brethren, if I have to like Alabama football to get me a Bible study, I'll like Alabama football. I'll like the Georgia Bulldogs. I don't care. I have one mission. There's only one thing I want. I said, man, Perry, I said, that old Nick Saban, he can coach, can't he? I said, he can coach. I said, well, you got a good, Perry, you've had a terrible season. He said, yeah, I know. We didn't make the championship. That's a terrible season for Alabama. And I said, but you know, Clemson's playing tomorrow and LSU. And I said, Perry, we just so happen to be having a football party to celebrate the championship tomorrow. What was that? That was my wife kicking me under the table in my shin because she didn't know about it. And she does that sometimes. And I said, yes. I said, Perry, and you're invited. I am? I said, yes, sir. I said, y'all come over, chips and dips. We're going to have sausage balls and little weenies wrapped in the croissant rolls, mustard. And we're going to have all sorts of, oh, yeah, I'd love that. And Perry, I've got in my home, the person who built my house put a screen about this size in the movie room, and it has 7 speakers, surround sound, and a subwoofer. You have never watched football until you've watched on that screen. Really? Ellen, can we go to their house? Go, yes, come on over. They come to my house on Monday night to watch that football game. I have one mission. I could care less about the football game. At halftime, LSU was blowing away Clemson. I said, Perry, can I turn that down? I need to ask you something. He said, what do you want to ask me? I said, well, I'm just curious. Of all the churches in Jacksonville, there's a dozen. There's got to be a dozen. Why us? Well, Rob, now, I'm a Methodist. He said, now, Rob, we went to the Baptist, but now we're Methodists. And, Rob, you know, they're changing, you know. Rob, they don't follow the Bible anymore. I said, well, I don't know much about it, Perry. Rob, it's in the paper. I said, well, I talking about the marriage stuff. He said, yeah, making me sick. And I said, yeah, that's kind of rough. And he said, but you know what? When we moved here 21 years ago, you sent us this little publication called House to House, Heart to Heart. And he said, Rob, we read it every month. And Rob, when it was time to find a church of the Bible, we knew exactly where we were going. I said, do you guys know a lot about the Church of Christ? Don't know a lot. I said, would you like to know more? Sure would. I just so happen to have these booklets. I always have the booklets. I will hit my target. I always hit the target. I'm not out there shooting from the hip. Brethren, this isn't some general state. Go out there and try to share the good news with people. What good does that do? Brethren, it's not succeeding. You've got to target somebody. And your goal is to get them into a Bible study so you can win them to Christ. That's the goal. I said, would you guys like to? We did 3 studies together, and then they were baptized. Everything I'm going to tell you has happened in the last 2 years. I'm going to tell you more conversions tonight, and all these were at Jacksonville. Because, brethren, if I don't live what I teach, I lose all credibility. So everything I'm going to tell you tonight is stuff that actually is occurring. And brethren, I can give you names. I've got permission to show you their faces. This is the stuff that works. On the back side, you need to promote your events. Make sure people know or they're not going to come. On the inside, you got this little quiz. And you even got a special free offer. People love free. And, hey, fill this out and we'll send you a book on marriage. Fill this out, we'll send you a book on parenting. Fill this out and we'll send you a book about, I don't know, why we believe in God. And I said to the elders, I said, brethren, I said, the next time someone fills that out, would you ask the secretary to call me? And they said, we will. And so happens, the next month I get a call. And, hello, hey, Rob, it's Deb Rice. Hey, Deb, Rob got a request for material. I said, all right. Rob, should I mail it? No. But Rob, we've always mailed it. I said, and that's why we don't baptize here. We don't mail things to people. I said, I'm more polite than that. I'm preaching now. So Deb, put it in the mailbox, and I'll get it when I get to the office. All right, Rob. So she puts it in the mailbox. Nicole and I drive down to the office. I grab it, and then we're looking for, I don't know, S Street. And so we go over to S Street. We find it. Her name is Brenda. Brenda. Yes. Always take a woman. Never knock on the door by yourself. You're a scary man. They're not opening the door. Take your wife, and they'll open the door. Take your children. They'll open the door. Don't go alone. And so she opened. Yes. I said, Brenda. Yes, I'm Brenda. My name's Rob. This is my wife, Nicole. Well, hello. And Brenda, you requested some material on marriage. I did. We're from House to House, Heart to. Oh, yes. I love that. I read that. Oh, yeah, it was wonderful. She said, well, Brenda, we brought you the material. Well, thank you. So, Brenda, did you just get married? Yes, about 4 weeks ago I got married. And I said, well, congratulations. She said, oh, it's exciting. I said, have you just moved to Jacksonville? Oh, yes, yes. And, sir? Yes, ma'am. She said, why did you not mail this to me? I said, well, then I couldn't have met you. Well, that's so nice. She said, yes. And ma'am, what is it that you do for? I'm a sitter. I sit with older people. I said, well, wonderful. And she said, sir, I got another question. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, do you know anything about the Bible? Oh, just a little bit. And she said, good, because my husband knows nothing about the Bible. Daniel, get up out of the couch. That man has been on the couch ever since he got home from work. I don't know what he does all day. Get off the couch, Daniel, and these people are here for you. Daniel's trying to wake up like this, and he gets to the door. And Daniel, these people are from house to house, heart to heart, and they're here to teach you the Bible. When do you want to start? What about tomorrow? I said, y'all like chocolate chip cookies? We love chocolate chip cookies. I just so happen to have the best dessert maker in the county in my house. I said, well, bring the cookies. And she says, wonderful. She says, Daniel, you're about to learn the Bible. We're going to teach you. I said, great. Guess what's going to happen when we teach him the Bible? We're going to baptize her. We're going to baptize him. We're going to baptize their neighbor. We're going to baptize their cousin. We're going to baptize their best friend. And we're just going to keep baptizing. That's what happens when you evangelize. But if you sit in your pew and you expect them to come, just keep sitting. They're not coming. A strategy to reach the lost. It works at every church, but you got to go. You got to target people, because you never hit a target you don't aim for. If you don't have names, if you're not out there looking for specific people, it's not going to work. So one of the things we suggest is you got to create a target list. I'm going to teach you how to do this. But you got to have a target list. You got to make sure that you're getting the equipment to the people who need it. Go to their door, knock on it. Hello, my name is Rob. I got this little gospel meeting flyer. We'd like you to come. They're not coming. Brethren, you can pass out gospel meeting flyers from now to Jesus comes and they're not coming. I mean, we waste more energy and we waste more paper doing this, and they don't come. No, here's what you do. You knock on the door and with your wife or a child, and they open the door, and you say, hello, my name's Rob. My wife, no, we're just some Christians in the area. Man, it's been a tough year. Yeah, it has. I said, have you guys, how you doing with this COVID stuff? It's been tough on us. It's been tough. I said, I'll tell you what we're doing. We're just praying for people. I said, you guys need us to pray for anybody? You got a grandparent, a child, anybody, and any needs at all? I said, we're just praying. Really? It's all y'all are? I said, yes, ma'am, we're just praying for people. Well, I like to pray. And I said, well, we like to pray too. She said, in fact, my daughter in there is about to have surgery. Would you pray for my daughter? Yes, ma'am. What is your daughter's name? And her name is Kathy. Let me get this Kathy down. Hey, can we come back and pray again? Sure, you come back to my house anytime. I said, don't worry, I will be. I just got what I wanted. I'll give you 5 different ways to do it. Brethren, we have a 30% success rate at the door. But I have to train you how to do that. I'm going to leave you the materials to do it. This right here works. This right here makes contacts. New movers. So anybody own a business? Anybody own a business? Anybody have a business in the audience? Anybody? All right. Let's just suppose you do. Brother Kingsley, let's just suppose you own a car wash. I don't know, car wash. Car washes are popular today, you know. It's a money-making business. They're going up everywhere, you know. And let's suppose I came up to you and I'm a rep from a company. Hey, Mr. Kingsley, my company provides local businesses with the addresses and names of everybody who moves into the area. We give you a map. We show you their address and name. It's a subscription service. We send it to you every month. And for $25 a month, I'll give you all the names of the people. Would that be interesting to you? Would you like that? Why? Because those are customers. And if Brother Kingsley's the kind of businessman that makes money, here's what he's going to do. You're going to give them a 20% coupon. Or you're going to send them a little thing that says your first car wash is free. Because once you get them in your car wash, they're customers for life. Now, brother, do we all understand that concept? And let me be even more plain. How many of you have ever moved in your lifetime? Anybody ever move? All right. What is the first piece of literature you get in your mailbox? Who is it from? The first piece of literature in your mailbox comes from what company? Lowe's. They always locate you. They know exactly where you're located. They're going to send you, what are they going to send you? Come to the store, get your lumber, 10% off. Get your appliances, 10% off. Every time I move, Lowe's has how do they do that? Because they're looking for you. In the Church of Christ, we've got to look for new movers. You know why? Because people are most likely to change churches when they move. It's a statistical fact. A couple of generations ago, if a couple or a family or an individual moved from one city to another city, they usually stayed with that same denomination. Those days are over. It doesn't matter to me what denomination they were in the last town. The average person today is willing to look at any church in their community. This is a powerful opportunity for evangelism. It doesn't matter to me what church they were a part of in the last town. I want them to visit the Church of Christ. So we're going to be the first people at the door. So what is house to house, heart to heart going to do for you? We're going to send them a postcard from LJ welcoming them to the community. Then we're going to send them this special new movers edition 2 weeks later. Then we're going to send you their name and address. My wife right now is teaching your ladies how to go shopping in the name of the Lord. They've never done this before. They're excited. I'm telling you what, your ladies are going to come out of here on fire. And brethren, if you're not willing to work, they're going to work for you. Because right now, she's teaching them how to do this. They're going to be taught how to create new mover baskets. The basket looks something like this. And so we're going to take those baskets to the people who, guess how many people move into LJ every single month? Now, I'm not talking about LJ expanded. I'm talking about right here, right around your church building. Just a few miles around your church building. Guess how many people move here every month? I know exactly the number. I know their name and address, and I'll give it to you. Let's just suppose you go up and knock on their door. And you say, hey, my name is Jeremy. This is my wife, and we'd like to welcome you to the community, and we're so glad you're here, and we've got this gift basket from the church, and really? Yeah, yes, ma'am. Why are you here? We just want to welcome you to the community. And by the way, do you need any help with anything? Need us to move anything for you? Really? Man, I've got this I said, no worries. And hey, by the way, we've got some information in this basket about some local county services like the trash pickup, the internet service, the phone company, the electric company, local dentists, contractors, and anybody in your church that does anything that's public works. If they own it, if they're an electrician, put their card in it. If they're a painter, put their card in it. If they mow lawns, put their card in it and say, we're here to help you. We're so grateful you did that. You're going to create a relationship with somebody who's just moved and they have no church. This right here is a gold mine. Brethren, they're not coming if you sit in your pew. You have to train a group of people in this church to do this. You have to have a team leader who's over it. And every one of these is going to produce for you. Let's go to the next one. Cards. You need a robust card ministry. I'm talking about a card ministry, brethren, that focuses on sinners. About 6 months ago, I had a church call me, and they said, 6 months ago, I had an eldership call me, and they said, Rob, we've got a problem here. And Rob, you were here 3 months ago, and we've been sending out all these cards, and it's not working. And I said, all right, I love to troubleshoot. You know what that means, right? Troubleshoot? Yeah, that means when you got to find, it's in our DNA, gentlemen. I mean, we are fixers. When you're born, you love to fix things. I love to fix problems. I said, okay, let's talk about it. So we got the virtual meeting set up. I got all the elders, and I got the man appointed over the card ministry because there should be someone appointed over it. There should be a coordinator and team leaders. We got them all. I said, all right, let's talk. First of all, do you guys have a contact list? A what? It's on page 104. It's called a contact list. Have you published it? Well, no, we were just putting some names on the bulletin board. Problem number one. You can't, it doesn't work without a contact list. All right, let's go to the names on the bulletin board. All right, the names on the bulletin board, who's on that list right now? Brother so-and-so has got cancer, and sister so-and-so, she's got a surgery coming up. Yes, and brother so-and-so, he's kind of having some issues. He's been real discouraged, so we sent him some cards. And then, oh, yes, sister so-and-so in that other church over there. Now her mother went here for years, and we're trying to, encourage her as well. Do you have any sinners on the list? Oh, I think we might have one. Have you diagnosed the problem yet? Brethren, you cannot reach sinners if there aren't sinners on the list. See, the contact list is for sinners. Who are we sending the cards to? Not the brethren. Jeremy is not going to fall away from the church if he doesn't get a card. We want the sinners to get the cards. That's who we're targeting. We're targeting the people that we're trying to save in this community. Now, in every church of Christ, there is a penny pincher somewhere. In a deacon, the eldership, somewhere he's there, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you some advice. Here's what he's going to do to you. Well, now, preacher, it's going to be kind of expensive to send cards. If we get a group of 30 people, and we got 10 people we're sending to, and that's 300 cards. Now, 51 cents a card. Now, boy, I tell you, their minds are going, And now those cards are 30 cents a piece. And boy, he said, you know what? We'd save a lot of money if we just had one card and all 30 of us signed it. Don't listen to this man. He will ruin your ministry. Here's what you need to do. You need to get 30 cards, and every single person sends the card, and you get your secretary to send 5 out on Monday, 7 out on Tuesday, 10 out on Wednesday, 15 of them go out on Thursday, and you do it strategically. You have a spreadsheet that I'll give you. All this stuff I'm going to give you. I'm going to hand deliver everything I'm talking about tonight. You're going to get that spreadsheet, fill it out. You're going to know exactly who gets the cards, how many they got, how long they've gotten it. And when the 4-week mark is gotten, you're going to say, Caleb and Mrs. Caleb, you've got a visit to make. And you're going to go to that house. You're going to knock on it. They're going to open the door. And you're going to say, my name is Caleb. This is Mrs. Caleb. And we've been sending you cards for the past 4 weeks. I've got 150 cards in my house. You sent those? Yes, ma'am. I've never been more touched in all my life. I didn't think anybody cared like that. Hey, would you guys like to come in, Caleb? You better believe it. Now, if Caleb doesn't know what to do now, just fire him. I'm always firing preachers. Fire me. You know, Caleb knows exactly what to do. Get in the house and have a conversation with that person. Talk to them. Find out what they need. What do you need? I noticed your lawn was kind of high. Could we mow it for you? Oh, you don't have to do it. Oh, no, we want to. Raise your hand, men. Would you mow a lawn? Are you willing to mow a lawn? So the elders go up to a group of men and say, we need you to mow lawns. Would you mow it for us? Every Monday she needs her lawn mowed. How long? I don't know. That's how it works. And you're going to overwhelm them with cards. And when Jeremy goes to the door, or Brother Kingsley and his wife goes to the door, or Brother Mark goes to the door with his wife, when you knock on that door, brethren, I guarantee it's going to be a good result. Because you have loved them more than they have ever been loved in their life. People normally, with rare exceptions, don't get upset because they're loved. Her name is Bettina. And when Nicole and I walked into her apartment, she'd been getting cards for 3 weeks. She'd been coming to church, and we're not even bringing her. The church members are doing their job. It's their job. They've been bringing her. And they said, Rob, she's ready. And I walked into her apartment. I said, hey, my name's Rob. This is my wife, Nicole. Well, nice to meet y'all. Y'all at the church. Yeah, I said, yeah, we talked to you. Yeah, you guys are really nice. And well, that's a great church. Hey, Bettina, where are all these cards coming from? Oh, that's your church. Really? Yeah, how many have you gotten? I've gotten 63 cards. She knows exactly how many cards she's gotten. I read them all the time. I bet you do. No one cares about me out here, but y'all do. Hey, Bettina, do you know anything about the Church of Christ? Don't know a lot. Would you like to know more? Sure do. I just so happen to have these booklets. I always have the booklets. This is Bible study number 3. And I'm going to tell you what happened. We're in Bible study number 3, and we're going through the red booklet, and we get to Mark 16:16, and I always make sure the prospect reads that verse. Sometimes we go around the table, but when it comes to some verses, I skip me. Now, Bettina, let's go ahead and let you read that. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, I've read that verse before. My pastor used to quote that verse. Pastor. What did he say about it? Well, he that believes is saved and baptized. Hey, Bettina, would you read Mark 16:16 for me? Sure. He that believes is saved and baptized. What are you doing with my Bible, Rob? King James Version. I know it doesn't say that. All right. But, Rob, is there something wrong with what I'm saying? I said, well, go ahead and read it again, Bettina. He that believeth and is... He that believeth and is... That is not what my pastor told me that verse said. I bet not. What do you think she did when she found the truth? The same thing that 92% of the people we study with do. She's baptized. I said, Alan, I need some help. I can't do this one by myself. He said, Rob, I'm already at the church. I got to finish the story. It's hard to finish. Her name's Rebecca Pearson, and we're in Texas. And before we left for Texas, I went to visit Bettina. I said, hey, Bettina, I said, you know, when we were doing those studies, I had a hunch that maybe you knew something about the Church of Christ. Oh, yeah. Now, Rob, I was raised a Baptist. Went to Baptist church all my life, but now in the last town in Ohatchee, okay, I said, I went to the Church of Christ. I said, really? Why did you go to the Church of Christ? Well, I didn't drive, and I lived next to the church building, so I just walked over. I said, okay. Bettina, how often did you go to the Church of Christ? Oh, every service. Bettina, how long did you live there? 7 years. 7 years. Bettina, as you went to the Church of Christ for 7 years, every service, Bettina, did anyone in that church ever ask you if you were a member? No. Did anybody ask you for a Bible study? First Bible study I've ever done, Rob. So, Bettina, let me make sure I understand. You go to a church for 7 years, and the preacher never asked you for a Bible study? No, they just accepted me. Hello? Hey, Rob, it's Rebecca Pearson. Where are you? I think I'm coming back from Texas, Rebecca. Hey, Rob, I'm at Bettina's. I said, what's wrong? Rob, she's not responding. I said, shake her. I did, Rob. She's blue. I said, call 911. I already did, Rob. She didn't make it. Brethren, aren't you glad she still wasn't going to Ohatchee? Because she would have been lost. We have people that sit in our pews and not one time do we offer a Bible study. No wonder we're dying. These are called visitor bags. I want to tell you about this. My wife right now is teaching your ladies how to go shopping in the name of the Lord. They're going to love this. My wife is going to send your ladies to the dollar store. It's $1, gentlemen. And if I was an eldership, give them a $100 bill, they'll make 15 of these bags up for you. And they'll stencil it, welcome, and you'll have a ladies group come up on Monday morning. The preacher ought not to do this. Do not send Caleb and Jeremy to make visitor bags. The ladies can do it. All right, let the ladies do this. Let them get involved. So get the ladies out there. Let them make their visitor bags. Now, you're going to have to train people. We're going to train members of the church. You're going to train them what to do when visitors come. And you're going to select them, handpicked. Do not choose Mr. Grumpy. Choose Mr. Happy. Do you have a Mr. Happy in this church? Is there a Mr. Happy here, Jeremy, somewhere? All right, you got to find Mr. Happy. You do not choose Mr. Grumpy. And so Mr. Happy and Mrs. Happy are always going to be looking for visitors. Now, I'm at Jacksonville, and I noticed I just come in. We'd been on the road 3 weeks. This just happened a couple months ago. I'm talking about recently. Hey, Eric, who's that couple back there right there? Oh, Rob, they've been visiting while you've been gone. Oh, yes. I said, who are they? Well, I think it's, not sure. I said, Eric, have we given them the visitor bag? Well, we were waiting for you, Rob. My blood pressure rose 10 points. Brother Tim, who is that back there? Oh, yeah, they've been visiting, Rob. Yes. I said, have we given them the visitor bag? Oh, no, well, we didn't want to run them off. I'm surprised they're back. I said, I'll do it myself. I grabbed the visitor bag. I walk up to him. I said, hey, my name's Rob. And your name? My name's Lindsay. Cameron. This is our little 1-year-old. Hey, nice to have y'all here. Y'all visiting? Sure am. I said, from the community? Absolutely. Hey, I've got a little gift from you, from the ladies. And inside there's a little tablet, piece of paper, pen, and some mints, and a little mug that says Jacksonville Church of Christ, and some other things. And, well, that's really sweet of y'all. I said, yeah, we love to send cards to visitors. Can I get your address and name? And guess what they're going to give me every single time? I'm going to get their address and name every time. It never fails. Now, let me be the typical Church of Christ. Typical. Welcome to our services this morning. If you're visiting, we're so glad you're here. Please come back at every opportunity as possible. Now, in the pew back in front of you, there are some yellow cards. We would like all of our visitors to fill this out and put it in the communion plate. How many visitors fill it out? Our members don't even do that anymore. If you do not go up and get that contact information, you will lose them. I was at a congregation in Georgia, and I'm not going to tell you where it was at. And I started on Sunday. I'm going to Thursday. And I noticed on Sunday morning a visiting family came in. They were friendly. They did their job. They introduced themselves. They were showering them with love. And then I noticed Sunday night they came back. Now, they didn't come Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday. So I have my private meeting with the elders, which I cannot wait for tonight. I sat there with them. I said, hey, brothers, I got a question for you guys. Yes, Rob. That family that visited on Sunday morning, who were they? Oh, Bob. No, it was Robert. No, it was Bob. Robert. Bob. Okay, it doesn't matter. What was their last name? Smith? No. Where did they live? A Street. No, it was First Street. No, A Street, First. Did we get any contact information? No. Well, they're probably going to come back. I doubt it. If you owned an insurance agency and you had customers coming in, and your secretary did that kind of job with the customers coming in, you'd fire her on the spot. Brethren, that should never happen in the Church of Christ. This is full proof. I got their contact information. What's the next step? I walk up to the preacher. His name's Keith Ritchie. Y'all know him? His first day on the job. It's his first Sunday. hey, Keith, that family right there is visiting Cameron and Lindsay and their 1-year-old. Really? I said, yeah, from the community. Wow. I said, Keith, I said, would you go up there and introduce yourself as the new preacher? Here's their contact information and invite them out to eat. Yeah, I'll do it, Rob. I've been through your seminar. I know. So he walked up to him, took him 5 minutes. He said, Rob, we're going down to Bajas after I'm taking them out to eat. I said, great. He said, now, what do you think I should do? I said, you talk to them, cultivate the relationship, and before the dinner's over, ask them, would you like to know more about the church at Jacksonville? And they're going to say yes. And when they do, schedule the appointment. And 3 weeks later, you'll baptize them. 92% of the time. You have to be strategic and intentional. You cannot shoot from the hip. You can't just hope it happens. Brethren, their members must be trained. You have to have a strategy, and it's got to become operational. You invite people out to eat. You get them in your home. You take them to KFC. You take them to, you got a Chick-fil-A. Man, that's an evangelistic magnet. You take them to the Longhorn Steakhouse. Get them a steak. Everybody wants a steak. Let them order the T-bone. It don't matter. If you can't afford it, the church can give the receipt to the elders. They'll pay for it. Get out there and take those visitors out to eat. Let them know that you're here because you love them and you care about them. Get that Bible study. Brethren, prospect your contacts. That's the only way that evangelism is going to work. You're not going to walk up to a complete stranger and say, hi, my name is Bill, and I want to study the Bible. They're going to run from you because you're a fanatic. Take them to Longhorn Steakhouse, get them a T-bone, and I bet you have a Bible study in 3 days. And you guys are nice people here. Yes, sir. You care about us. We do care. Digital media. It's an incredible contact creator. If you do it right, it'll bring you contacts. But you got to set it up right. It's more than just a website. It's more than just having a Facebook page presence. There are actually ways to push contacts from, I'm going to give you an entire curriculum of how to set it up. We got people that know exactly how to make this produce for you guys. How about community events? And it can't be hot dogs. They're not coming for hot dogs. But if you would do, I don't know, alligator sausage, a shrimp boil, or what about a roasted pig? You dig a hole, put the pig. Have y'all seen that done before? Is that an Alabama thing? I don't know. They put the pig in the hole and they roast it. The smoke's coming up through the ground, you know. And people come from all over. We had 300 sinners show up. 300 contacts. Now here's what you don't do. If I was the preacher, this is what you don't do. Hey, my name is Rob. What's your name? Tim, I'm glad you're here. Tim, thanks for coming, Tim. And what's your name? Hey, I hope you enjoy the sausage. And what's your name, son? We're so glad you're here. Good to have you here. So excited. And you're going to go through 300 people. And what have you just accomplished? Absolutely nothing. Now, here is the way to make it evangelistic. Hey, my name's Rob. This is my wife, Nicole. What's your name, sir?
Curtis.
Curtis. Nice to meet you, Curtis. Are you visiting from the community?
Yes,
How do you like the sausage?
Good.
May I sit and eat with you? He'll be the only person I talk to for the next 45 minutes. And when I'm done, I will have his phone number, his email address, and I will have a contact card filled out, and I will have a contact. And if I can get 50 of my church members to do that, we will have 50 contacts before that event closes. Now, when you put it all together, what do you get? When you focus the church on the non-Christians in your pews, when you focus on card cultivating, when you focus on visitors, when you focus on properly training people how to knock on a door, when you focus on house to house, heart to heart, new movers, gospel broadcasting network, digital media, benevolence, you go all in, guess what you get? A 300% increase in your baptisms. It drives them up. 15 to 20 a year is what the churches get in our school. That's the average church. If you have 500 members and you get 20, you have failed. I'm talking about the average size church. 200 members, you should be having 15. If you don't get 15 or 20 a year, you're not growing. Because you got people passing away, you got people moving. Brethren, you have got to get those baptisms up there, and that's how you get it done. Now, number 6, and I'm going to go through these remaining ones very quickly. You got to populate your list. Brethren, you have got to make a list, and everybody's got to have a list. Caleb has a list, and Mrs. Caleb have a list. Jeremy has a list, and Mrs. Jeremy has a list. Brother Kingsley has a list, and Sister Kingsley has a list. And you keep the list in your Bible. I'll train you how to do it. This is probably one of the best contact creators we've got in the school. And I learned it from Larry Acuff. And it produces. But you just ask the church to write down 10 people they know that are not Christians. Write them down, make a list. And brethren, we're going to cultivate them. We're going to prospect them. It's an incredibly effective way. But you got to have a list. You have to write people's names down. Put them in your Bible. And we're going to talk about it every Sunday. I'm going to say, hey, everybody get out your bookmark. Everybody gets out the bookmark. Hey, Caleb, anybody on your bookmark, anybody sick? Anybody got cancer? Anybody just lose a loved one? Anybody just get married? Anybody just move? Anybody just have a baby? Anybody just lose their job? Anybody depressed? Anybody on that list we can prospect? Yeah, I got one. Let's get it on the congregational list. Let's go back there to that evangelism table and grab that contact card and fill it out, and let's go ahead and send them a boatload of cards. We're going to send them 50 cards a week, 30 cards a week. We're going to overwhelm them with cards, and in 4 weeks we're going to make a visit. It's a plan, it's a strategy, and now it's operational. Now the church is doing their job. 17 baptisms in 6 months, all from the list. 17 in 6 months. If you want to talk to their elders, I'll give you their name, Mount Pleasant Church of Christ, North Jefferson. Just call them. Their elders are going all over Texas right now training other churches how to do it. I just talked to one of the elders. He said, Rob, we can hardly be home. I said, why? He said, all these churches are calling us, asking us to come show them what we're doing. It's exciting when you evangelize. You know, Ella J has an opportunity to be a model church in Georgia. Think about it, Jeremy. Think about the model this church could be for Georgia. And you know, these small churches need someone to show them the way. And they can see, and they say, well, look what Ella J's doing. I want to do what Ella J's doing. Could you tell us, Ella J, what you're doing? Think about what you can do for North Georgia. Because we need examples. We need to find churches that are succeeding. And when you have that, it explodes. You need to get every member participating. 1 Corinthians 12 and 14, for the body is not one member, but many. Get them all involved. You don't ever do sign-up lists for evangelism. The Lord doesn't say, now, if you would like to volunteer, go ahead and participate. When you became a Christian, you were enlisted. We don't ask for volunteers. No, the elders will come tap you on the shoulder and they'll tell you what you're going to do. You have incredible influence when you do that. Go tap one of your members on the shoulder and say, I need you to be a part of the visiting ministry. I need to talk to you in our conference room tonight. Oh, by the way, y'all got a beautiful conference room. And we're going to meet with, 5 or 6 families, and these elders are going to train those 6 families how to treat visitors when they come. No welcome wagons. And Barna did a survey, by the way. I always quote this. And Barna did a survey, and I'll tell the elders later. I'm going to tell you this later. I can't wait to tell you about what Barna found out about visitors. Number 8, prioritize. Make evangelism the most important work of the church. It's more important than paving parking lots, pouring concrete, painting walls. Before you talk about anything in an elders meeting, you talk about saving souls. I walked into an elders meeting at Willette, and I said, brethren, would you let me set the meeting? And they said, sure, Rob, what's on your mind? I said, I want to talk about 5 men who sit on our pews that are lost. Well, who are they? I said, Bruce Bartley, Samuel Gregory, the Mormon, Bruce Bartley, the Baptist, Billy Hudson, the Methodist, Ronnie Rhodes, the Baptist. What do you want to do with them? I want to baptize them. How are you going to do that? We're going to do Bible studies. Well, how are you going to get them to study? The same way I do it with everybody else. We're going to prospect them. We're going to overwhelm them with love. I'm going to sit in their house. I'm going to get to know them. I'm going to get that. I baptized all of them within 1 year. Because every time I met with the elders, we talked about them. They were on our whiteboard. The elders covered up the whiteboard. When we walked into the room, they uncovered it, and there their names were. We prayed about him. Every time we walked in, we prayed about Bruce Bartley. We prayed about Billy Hudson. We prayed about Samuel Gregory. We prayed about these men. God, help us get to them. God, help us to find open hearts. Help us have wisdom to know how to get to these men. Make it our mission to get to them. And don't hide your evangelistic plan in the elder's office. Every member of this church should know your plan when you're ready to tell them. When I got done at university, this Sunday, the elders told the church the plan. It was exciting. The church now knows. They brought the church right along with them. They said, here's the plan, here's what we're going to do. Bring the church with you. Do not go it alone. Do not hide your mission in an office. Publicize it. What gets pushed gets praised, and what gets praised gets pushed. Number 10, and lastly, pray. Most importantly, pray for souls to be saved. Pray for Bible studies. Pray for evangelism. Pray it from the pulpit. Pray it in your home. Pray it in elders' meetings. Brethren, pray about your mission. We always pray about our missionaries. What about the ones in this country? Pray about it. Thank you for your time and attention.